Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of your Google Ads course. This week we're going to be talking about keywords and keyword management. So just a quick introduction into keyword management. Keyword research and management is one of the most important areas of Google Ads. Your selection of keywords and their relevance is key in determining the cost benefit of the keyword and spend to your business. There are lots of different types of keywords, and I'm going to go through these first quickly before diving into the platform and showing you these in more detail. So match types give you some wiggle room when it comes to your keyword choices. When you input a keyword into Google, you need to give it an indicator on how much space it has to play with that keyword and when and what it should appear for. Match types allow you to tell Google whether you want to match a search query exactly or if your ad should be shown to anyone with a search query that is semi-related or more broadly related. So the first type of keyword is a broad match, and this gives you the maximum reach, but it impacts you in the sense that you actually are minimum in terms of relevancy. Broad match keywords are the ones that enable you to reach the widest audience possible, letting you drive a larger volume of traffic to your website. But broad match is the default used by Google Ads, and broad match type keywords have the most drawbacks of the three options. The traffic to your website you'll receive won't be refined. Most visitors will be random who stumbled across your ad essentially, but some of the keywords your ads will be shown for can be totally irrelevant to the theme or topic of your website or blog. So it's worth noting that broad match keywords can be a little bit inaccurate, and typically they're the ones that I use the absolute least when I'm setting up Google ad campaigns. You can also modify your broad match keywords. Now this gives you lower reach but a little bit higher relevancy. This match type allows you to gain more control over your appearance and increase the relevancy of the traffic you attract with your PPC adverts. You can indicate broad match, modified broad match to Google by using the following symbol, this little plus sign ahead of the words. So in practice, it looks like this when you're typing it into Google. You're saying plus Google, plus ads, plus course. That's just a brief example of what that looks like. It is worth noting at this point also that Google is removing broad match searches soon, and they will be replaced by phrase match, which is the next one I will discuss. What I'm talking about here will be encapsulated into phrase match going forward. But for the time being, you can still use these in your adverts as of this month, which is May 2021. You also have phrase match keywords, and these have medium reach and medium relevancy. I use these quite frequently. Phrase match keywords lies somewhere between they're more focused than broad match keywords, but less so than exact ones. And exact ones are the next one I will go through. So it provides you with greater flexibility in terms of getting visitors to your website. These are indicated to Google by using these apostrophe symbols on each side of the word. In practice, it looks like this, where you're just putting in Google Ads course. So I want people in this instance, if they search for Google Ads course, if they search for Google Ads training, for example, that would be similar enough for this to come up, and that would make sense in this sense. With the broad match, it might come up as Google Ads consultant or something a little bit more broad and outside the remit of what I'm actually using the ads for. So the phrase match will give you a little bit of flexibility, but it will also try taper the searches to as much focus as possible. So they're a great use. They have great use within Google Ads, and I'd certainly recommend using phrase match as much as possible. I find them extremely beneficial. The next one is exact match, and exact match again can be very beneficial for your business. Exact match keywords are essentially the opposite of broad keywords. The search query has to match the keyword exactly for the search engine to trigger your ad to show up. This makes it one of the most difficult keyword types to master, but the traffic from these keywords typically is easier to convert and is typically of higher value to your business. It's indicated to Google by using these types of brackets at the start and end of each word, and in practice it looks like this. So if someone searched Google Ads course, just that alone, the ad would appear in that instance, and that instance only if you're using exact match keywords. So that's worth bearing in mind as well. The what I love about exact match keywords is they can become highly beneficial for your business in terms of your SEO research afterwards. So if you are noticing that some of your exact match keywords are really performing well in your account, what you can do is really lean into those first in your Google Ads side of things. You can make dedicated ad groups for them and things like that to really hone in on them and make them as cheap as possible. But also you can take that data away and say, well, out of all of these keywords, this, and this is performing the best for us in terms of conversions. And maybe we should look at that in terms of SEO as well, so we can convert some of that traffic for free. So you can do that across the board with your search terms, but sometimes Exact Match gives you more opportunity to look at that as well within Google Ads. You also can have negative keywords. So let's assume you're bidding and you're a digital marketing freelancer and you're bidding on Google Ads for those keywords. You want to broaden the search a little, so you're using broad or phrase match keywords, but you don't want your ads to show up for someone who is looking for a freelancer job. So you can use negative keywords to indicate to Google what words you want to remove from being shown in the search. And you can also use the modifiers that I just talked about, the broad match, phrase match, and exact match, to indicate how broad that should be in terms of the negative keyword. So if I said phrase match for job, that might be a good one in this instance because it might remove careers and other things like that as well, digital marketing careers or digital marketing jobs and things like that. So in that instance, that would help me further make my advert more relevant when I'm using the broader match keyword. So I can use a broad keyword, but also say to Google, okay, I want it to be broad or I want it to be phrase match, but I also don't want the advert to come up in this, and this instance. And over time, it's really important to continue to add to your negative keyword list as much as possible. So what you want to be doing over time really is every time a search term comes in, and I'll show you where to find your search term report. But over time, as those keywords come in, what you want to be doing is looking at those and removing all of the ones that shouldn't be there or that you don't want to appear for again, and putting those into your negative keyword list, so that over time you are building up and your negative keyword list to make your adverts more and more and more relevant over time. It's one of those key areas of Google Ads to really help you create a process of continuous improvement within the advertising platform. So negative keywords are hugely important for the performance of your campaigns over time, and they can really just help you get started as well in terms of removing things off the bat that you don't want to appear for. Other things that people often put in here would be things like refunds, cancellations, terms like that that you don't want your ads to appear for, essentially. So now I'm going to show you some keyword research and planning tools and some options outside of the platform. So we'll go into the platform for a live demo, but I'm also going to show you some tools like Google Trends and Answer the Public that can also be quite beneficial to your keyword research and planning. So first things first is Google Trends. Google Trends is an excellent tool, especially at the moment, given the changes in the world with COVID-19 and everything else that impacts us on a day-to-day basis. But you can enter a search term or a topic. For now, I'm just going to put in digital marketing as an example. And what you can see is a fluctuation of the amount of searches over the last year, or you can look at it over the past 30 days, or you can look at it over the past 5 years. You can adjust the time as much as you want. Now you can see here that over the last 30 days, the search has been sporadic here in Ireland. I'm going to open that to the USA so you can take a look at it here. But as you can see, the search terms every day here are quite high. That would pretty much mean that it's going to be a little bit more expensive when it comes to running it on Google Ads. But as you can see here, it ranks the keyword out of 100. 100 isn't the number of searches a day. It is actually like a percentage out of 100 in terms of how frequently it is searched. So these are the higher days, these are the lower days, and you can look at the frequency of searches for your term. Now, sometimes you might put in a term and it might have much lower than this. Now, digital marketing is a much more common term, but you can gauge, actually, do people search that term and how frequently do they search it? And you can get a gauge of how high the competition is going to be off the back of looking at Google Trends a little bit as well. And it would also give you related topics, other related queries that people have asked for. And you can use Google Trends just to get a gauge on what the search volume is like for those keywords that you want to focus in on. So it's a really handy tool to go away and look at and just do some of your keyword research in. The other tool that I find really beneficial when it comes to keyword research is Answer the Public. And again, here you can put in any term you want and you can hit search. And what you can do is it'll spit back at you these wheels of questions in terms of what are the most frequently asked questions around your keywords. And that is extremely important in the B2B context, especially at the moment. So the keyword digital marketing is going to be expensive by nature because of how many people are going to be bidding on it, how many people want to get in front of people searching for those terms. But also people ask all of these different questions around digital marketing all of the time, and creating dedicated ad groups for things like phrases that are a little bit longer can also be extremely beneficial to your business. So looking at those can also help you drive your costs down. If your keyword is one of those that is a little bit more expensive, it's worthwhile going away, looking at something like Answer the Public and kind of feeding out what longer keywords that you could look at or longer keyword phrases that you could look at. This tool is also extremely beneficial for things like SEO and things like that. Anything around your keyword research is extremely beneficial to look at Answer the Public. It's also worth noting that Answer the Public only gives you 2 free searches every day, so use it sparingly if you want to use the free version of it, or if you want to use it multiple times, you can pay for the service, or alternatively, if you switch your VPN, it'll let you use it again. So there's lots of different types of questions in here. You can see you've got your questions, prepositions, comparisons in alphabetical. So there's lots of different options there for you to look and get a lot of research done around what people are searching for, what people care about when it comes to your keyword. And it will also allow you to search by region. So you could search on Answer the Public specific to the US, specific to the UK, specific to Ireland, specific to wherever you are doing your keyword research for, wherever your adverts are going to be running in terms of location targeting within the platform. You can also just search for your term, which I find extremely beneficial as well, because what you will have is, first of all, Google will give you some questions that people ask. And as you click on these questions, you'll see that actually more questions start appearing. So I use that as a research tool as well, just to see what kind of questions people frequently ask into Google around the search term. But also down here at the bottom, what you will get is related searches. And related searches are extremely beneficial as well, because they can also help you in part of the idea process. But also it's Google actually telling you themselves what other related searches are available to you. So it's a really helpful tool in terms of finding related searches, finding related keywords, so that you can take a look at those and also add them into your keyword strategy where you feel most beneficial. So over here in Google Ads, there's also your keyword research and your keyword planner tool. You can find that here under tools and settings, and what you want to click into is keyword planner. You can look at this in 2 ways. You can use it to discover new keywords, or you can use it to get search volumes and forecasts. So firstly, I'm going to show you how to discover new keywords. So you can put in your keyword digital marketing, for example, here again, and you can get results. And what will happen is that it will just spit back at you all of the different types of keywords that are also very relevant to the keyword you just put in. Also, when you are discovering new keywords, you can start with a website. So you can put in a website like growthuniversity.io, for example, and it will spit back relevant keywords that it feels would be most relevant to your business based on the website. So you can see here growth courses, growth playbooks are coming up for us. So you can use both of those. Now you can also put in a competitor's website there to take a look at their keywords and things like that as well. So discovering new keywords will allow you to do a bit more of the research in there. Now, the more important tool in this section is your Get Search Volume and Forecasts tool. And when you click on that, again, you can put in whatever keywords you want and click Get Started. So as you can see here, when I put in the keyword digital marketing, the average monthly searches are quite high. There's medium competition. It's going to cost between 158 and 861 in terms of to bid on that keyword. I can also change the location, the language, and the date range here to get a gauge on that. So this will allow you to get a little bit more insight into how much it's actually going to cost you to bid on that keyword. Now, there's a lot to take into consideration here because Google issues you with a quality score for every keyword that you use. And I'll show you where to find that as well shortly. But you want your keyword to have the highest quality score possible. The higher your quality score, the closer your bid range is going to be towards the lower end. And the lower your quality score, the higher you are going to pay for that click, essentially. And your quality score is assessed from your ability to match your messaging from your keyword to your ad group, to your advert, to your landing page. So if there's a piece of string, again, I've mentioned this before, where you look at that piece of string, can you tie it the whole way through from someone's search term right through to the landing page? Is it relevant and highly relevant throughout that process? And that will help you improve your quality score and is extremely important from the view of trying to reduce your cost per click as much as possible within the platform. So this is how you can do that research. You can just go into tools and settings over to your keyword planner and you can assess it from there. Again, over here in tools and settings, you will find your negative keywords list. So this is the list of words that you might put in that you don't want to appear for. So you can just name it whatever you want. And in this instance, for the example I gave earlier, I want to anything close to jobs I don't want to appear for, and you can save that in there. And you can apply that negative keyword list then to any of the campaigns that you're setting up. So you can go into tools and settings, negative keyword list, and go through all of the different keywords that you don't want to appear for within your account. If you want to look at some other keyword research tools, the Moz tool is a great one that you can use to search for keywords, get some comprehensive keyword analysis, suggestions, and you can use this for free. And they have other SEO tools as well. Now, even though this is dedicated as an SEO tool, it can still really benefit you when you're doing keyword research for your Google Ads campaigns as well. And Neil Patel also has one, and you can see here there's pricing options available for his Ubersuggest tool. It's not the best one that I've come across. I'm more inclined to use Google Trends, Answer the Public, and Moz and WordStream to get more information. But the Google's internal one, Google search related queries and things like that are a great resource to get started with first and foremost. So there's plenty of opportunity there to look at the different types of keywords in there. To get started with your keyword research and just to help you with that process, here's a keyword research template that I use all of the time. It is really helpful, and what you can do is, first of all, you can theme out your keywords, so by brand, SEO, PPC, whatever kind of areas that you want to cover, and you can list your keyword or your keyword phrases in there. What I would always note about your brand keywords is that it's a mixture of things can happen. If a competitor is bidding on your brand name as a keyword in Google Ads, you might want to start bidding on your brand name as well, because in that instance, you need to protect your brand. However, if you are just bidding on your brand name, you might just be cannibalizing some of the search results that you would have appeared number one for anyway. If no one else is bidding on it, you might just be paying for that click that otherwise would have come through anyway. It can help by providing some element of a lift. For example, if you had a discount or a special offer on or something like that, that you wanted to just lift with the brand searches as well. So be very careful with the brand searches more so than anything. That's just an extra tip here, but you can put out different types of your keywords, and then in these tabs along the bottom, you can look at those keywords in more detail, look at the average monthly searches from the tools I've shown you, look at the competition, conversion intent, the priority and rank. So the SEO one here with the keyword like SEO courses, average monthly searches, the competition, the conversion intent, the priority and the ranking, and all of that data is just sample data in here for you to take a look at so that you can get an idea of where you are currently ranking, if you have a URL that is ranking for it already, because that's important to take into consideration with Google Ads as well. If you have a page that is ranking number one for the search, is it cost beneficial for you to also run an advert towards that keyword that's going to go to the same landing page? So reflect on your SEO with your keyword research as well. But these spreadsheets will give you that opportunity to look at your keyword, look at the monthly searches. You can also add in tabs in terms of the low range bid, the high range bid. You can manipulate this spreadsheet as you see fit for your business. It will be included in the course documents that you see below. So take a look at this. Use it for your SEO just as much as your keyword research for your Google Ads as well, and you can just get a good gauge on where you're ranking for keywords currently, how much monthly searches are for that, how beneficial it's going to be, what's it going to cost if you want to run it in the adverts and things like that. And it will give you a good basis of getting started with your keyword research as well, and just getting a gauge on where you're at with your Google Ads. So next I'm going to show you how to set up your keywords in ad groups, and I'm going to give you a live demo of this within the advertising platform as well. So when you are setting up a campaign, again, you end up over here, and I'm just going to go into the search here so that we can have a quick look at, the different types of keywords. So once you get through to the ad group stage, that is where you're going to start adding your keywords. Now, what I recommend is absolutely best in this scenario is to create dedicated ad groups for specific keywords that are relevant to your business. Always try to make these groups as niche as possible. Typically, what I tell people to get started with, and just to get the most out of it, is to just use all three types of modifiers on your keywords, and then what you get is the three variations, and you can start seeing then once the ad is live which one is getting the best search terms that are the most relevant to your business, which one is performing the best. If you go with just exact match, you might tighten the ad group too much. If you go with just phrase match, you might miss out on some searches that are pretty relevant. And Google Ads course at the start with the broad match modifiers gives you the opportunity to see if search terms a little bit are a little bit broader out there that you have missed out on that you might want to include in your campaign. So it's important at the start, but I'd certainly start teasing out the broad match modifiers if you need to over time. It's also worth noting that the broad match modifiers are going away, so you will probably going forward just be using phrase match and exact match just like this. So when you're in your ad groups, this is ideally what each of your ad groups should look like. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. You just want to make sure that they are super niche, super tight ad groups, so that when you start going towards your creating your advert and your landing page, you can create your dedicated ad, your dedicated landing page, and you can really hone in on your keywords throughout that process so that you have really niche ad groups. Single keyword ad groups are probably they're the most high performing within the advertising platform. Now there is an exception to that at the moment with dynamic searches also becoming part of the mix, so you can switch your ad group type here from standard to dynamic, and what happens in that instance is that you don't get the opportunity to put in the keywords. In that instance, Google goes away and makes the assumptions for you based on landing pages that you put in. Those are performing really well for lots of people at the moment, but I would get started with your standard setup first just to get a feel for your keywords. Layer in the dynamic over time then if you want to be a little bit more experimental on the platform, I should say. But when you look at the dynamic, because you're giving Google all of the control over your keywords, you have to go back into your tools and settings, go over to your negative keyword list, and you are going to have to iterate that negative keyword list more regularly and more frequently than you would with any other type of campaign, especially at the moment. So that is what you really need to be looking at when it comes to your keyword groups. Just if they're standard setup, keep them really niche. The nicher the better. You will always see so much more improvement than if I was putting in all of the different types of courses we do here into this ad group and just calling the ad group courses. What you actually want to be doing is calling the campaign courses, and the ad groups are all going to be specific to each of the courses, and then maybe you have a different area of the business and that's the campaign. And again, tons of different ad groups underneath, and each of them with their very own niche keywords. So it's probably one of the most important parts of setting it up to get that quality score up, first of all, so that your cost per click is cheaper, but also so that you can get a much better gauge on the performance of your keywords as well. It's also really important to assess your keywords. It's important to manage and maintain your keywords over time to remove waste from the account, but it's also important to leverage the information into your SEO efforts. So for example, if you have a keyword that converts really well in Google Ads, you can focus in on that when it comes to your SEO, as you already know it's a highly converting keyword. So that's extremely important as well. And here is what that message matching process that I keep talking about with that piece of string should look like. Whatever someone searches, now this is a very broad example, but if whatever word someone searches, you want that word to appear in the ad, you want it to appear in the description, and again, you want it very prominent on the landing page. So you can see here that this message matching is done quite well. So you can take inspiration from this in terms of looking at your keyword, looking at the advert, and looking at the landing page as well. It's worth noting that we have a full week on ad copy and landing pages, so I'll be going through all of the different types of creating ad copy, all the different types of landing pages that you can look at, different examples of high converting landing pages as well. If you haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking out unbounce.com. That is what a lot of people use agency wise as well, in terms of trying to get multiple pages ready for campaigns, so that they're really highly relevant to each one of the keywords, and they're created away from your website, and you don't have to worry too much about going back and forth to your web developer to get a lot of that work done. So it allows you to have more space in terms of looking at your keywords as well. When it comes to your actual keyword management, you really want to make sure that you are going into your Google Ad account at least once a week, if not twice a week, and making sure that you're going through your search terms list and building on that negative keyword list. I'm just going to show you there where to find your search term report within the platform as well, so that you know where to look when you're actually within your campaigns. So over here in keywords, you'll see this little drop down here, and what you can do is look at your search terms, see what search terms have come in for your business. There's none in here yet. And essentially what you can do, there's these little boxes all along the side, and you can click on those boxes and just add them to your negative keyword list if the search terms that are coming in are irrelevant. So these keyword boxes here are great, because what you do is you have your search keywords, that's what you're putting yourself in for. You have your negative keywords, that's what you want the ads to not show for, so free or job. And then your search terms are the terms that are actually coming in, that Google is actually showing your advert for. And those you want to keep a really close eye on, so that you can get a gauge on what is coming in and you can get a gauge on what is coming in, but mostly what you want to remove from the advert, so that you're really working towards that process of continuous improvement over time as well. Also, you have your auction insights here, and auction insights are extremely beneficial as well, because it tells you what kind of competition you're seeing on your keyword. So if you're bidding $5 on a specific keyword, you can come in here and say, okay, well, here's the list of 10 people that are showing for my advert, that are showing for the same keyword essentially. And what you can do there is assess, well, I'm paying $5, and my biggest competitor next to me must be paying a lot more, because they are being shown 60% of the time, whereas I'm only being shown 10% of the time. And you can get a gauge on what kind of budget you need to fluctuate up and down. Now, it's always important to remember that, as I said before, if you can improve your quality score, that might bring your costs down enough to bring your impression share up, without having to increase your bids, without having to make the platform more expensive for you. So certainly go in and have a look at your auction insights, so that you can get a gauge on what's happening from your keywords as well. And it's an extremely beneficial section of the platform. So once you have your campaign set up, you will see this all will be live in here. So you can look at your search keywords, look at your negative keywords, and you will have all of the data across here in terms of what it's actually coming up with. In your columns section then, you can modify your columns, so you can have a look at, well, what's the performance of my keywords? How many conversions did I get, and what types of conversions? How can I attribute it? Can I have a look at competitive metrics? Quality score is one of the most important ones, so that you can see the higher your quality score, the lower you are going to be paying for that keyword. So it's extremely important to be looking at your your quality score for your keywords. You can also look at your landing page experience and a landing page experience history, so you can see if any changes created a negative impact for the keyword for you and things like that. So all of these, there's so much data that you can look at, but the key things that you want to know obviously is your performance, how many clicks are you getting, all of that, what are your competitive metrics, how much of the search impression share are you holding. So essentially, out of all the searches out there, are you showing for 5% of them, 10%, 20%, 30%? So you want to be looking at your competitive metrics as well, and most importantly, again, the quality score. So you can use these columns to look at your data essentially for your keywords and learn a lot more about the platform from there as well. So that is your introduction into Google Ad keyword management, keyword research, and how to get started on going about that. If you already have your campaign set up, it's extremely beneficial to go back in and just start working through those search terms, splitting out your ad groups into dedicated ad groups for specific keywords, looking at your negative keyword list, reflecting on your quality score, and seeing how much you are actually getting out of each and every keyword. It's at this point that it's really important so that you have either a foundation to get started with or a foundation for improvement for your Google Ads. Next week, we're going to be discussing audience management and how we can start connecting the dots between your keywords and between your audiences and the next phase of essentially setting up your adverts. I can't wait to see you there. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at jennettgrowthuniversity.io or ping me in Slack. See you next week.